Okay, guys, so in this lesson, I talked to you about linear equations in the first video. So what was a linear equation? It just means that something's changing at a constant rate. We start somewhere and we change it at a constant rate. Mathematically, it also draws a straight line. So we knew algebraically or mathematically what it does on a graph. We knew in real life it's just something that's changing at a constant rate, which every day something's changing at a constant rate. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about what we did yesterday, y equals 4x plus 3, what kind of form that is in. Okay, that is actually called slope-intercept form, as you can see here. Okay, so when we're doing slope-intercept form, we used this yesterday, and if you recall, our graph kind of looked like it started at 3 and it increased as it went up. So it's an increasing because this slope was increasing. But I'm going to tell you just what does slope-intercept form mean. What is slope-intercept? Here's what it is, y equals mx plus b. Okay, here's what you may already know. The b is called y-intercept. Okay, it is just where you begin. So if you take a look at your y-axis, wherever that line crosses the y-axis, that is your y-intercept. It's where you start. It's where you begin. We talked about that in the first lesson. The m in algebra class means that you are working with slope. That is what the slope is. So when you see the letter m, it typically means slope unless we're using it as a variable in a question. So m is slope. Y-intercept is really simple because it's just where do you begin or where is it on the y-axis. Slope, a little more difficult because we have to figure out how much something is actually changing. Now, you may notice that there's an x and a y in here. Remember, guys, x and y values are points on the graph. Okay, if I insert an x, if I input an x, I'll get a y out. They are points that are located on the graph. So this x and this y are always just points on the line. Now, if we have the slope, there's a special things we need to do to find slope. Slope just means this. There's a formula for it. We can find slope by doing this formula. Now, one of the things that you're seeing here in algebra class that you may never saw before is that these letters all have sub numbers. They're not exponents, they're sub numbers. Those subs just tell us, they're just basically telling you what numbers you're looking for. Okay, you don't have to, they're not an exponent, they're just naming things. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. I'll show you what that here is here in a minute. So if you do not know your slope, this is how you have to find your slope. Okay, so the only thing I want you to know about your slope-intercept form in this video, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You're going to see that a lot for the rest of your mathematical career. M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. The y and the x are represented by inputs and outputs, which are actually just points on the line. So you may be given points on the line. If you know 2 points on the line, you can figure out what the slope is. We're going to do that in the next video. Okay, make sure you've written this down in your notes, slope-intercept form. This is one that we talked about yesterday in the linear equations video. This is what slope-intercept form actually is. This is the formula for slope. You will need all of those things in order to continue.